Good evening, guys, and let's start. So, in the last class, we discussed about just I have given a basic introduction. What is what? What is the syllabus of your AWS cloud? How you have to do it. Today, we will be discussing about white cloud. Before that, you need to understand what is contained. Okay.
Sorry, Chaitanya, actually, your voice is not clear.
Hello.
Hello?
Now, is it clear?
Yeah, now it's clear.
Yeah. So in the last class, we discussed about the configuration related to, not the configuration, we just discussed about the basics of AWS, what is meant by AWS. So yeah, even though I did not say about the cloud computing also, we just have a small discussion about the foundation level, how you have to do the courses of your cloud computing. These are the things we have discussed. Now, Sachin, mute yourself. Is there anything to ask?
No. Go ahead.
Yeah, please mute yourself.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, when we get back to the next topic, so here today we need to understand the concepts regarding why we need to go for networking. So what is the necessity of going into the networking concepts? As we are discussing cloud computing, is there any necessity of learning networking? Of course, we need to have a brief understanding, a minimum understanding about what is meant by IP address, what are the different types of IPs that we request. So these are all the things that you need to understand. So if you don't understand these things, you cannot go into your VPC configurations, and most probably whatever we are discussing, everything is related to the networking concepts only. Okay. So yes, it is an integral part. I am not specifically saying that you have to learn networking in a different way and you have to learn AWS. So to connect to our servers, so whatever the servers that we deploy in AWS, all the servers are created in the cloud environment. Now here you need to understand what is meant by cloud. The topic that you need to understand here is what is cloud. What are the different types of clouds that we are having? Different types of cloud, and then different service and service models that are provided by the cloud. So before you learn about the cloud computing, you need to understand the topic that is. So before cloud, now if you see here, within 10 years, like from past 10 years or from past 7 years onwards, the cloud is becoming a booming technology in the IT world. Cloud is becoming an integral part in the IT world. Now, before that, what is there? So how everything is managed, how websites are created, not only website, how an application is created, either it might be an Android application or else any application, how it is created and how companies are making that particular application available for the users. So these are all the things you need to understand. So when we go further into the basics, so before cloud, whenever we are into the 2000 eras, 2010 era, so at that time we don't have this cloud technology. Of course, cloud technology was implemented from 2006 onwards, but most probably, I think it has become an integral part into the IT world from 2017. After the pandemic, only it has become very vast. So before pandemic, we don't have this much amount of cloud engineers, this much amount of DevOps engineers, this much amount of knowledge on AWS, DevOps, and all the things. Everybody are used to work in a different mindset, and in a different sectors. Now, when the pandemic occurred and everybody are doing work from homes and everything is remotely working in, so slowly the companies are shifting from the on-premises to the cloud environments. From 2014 onwards, it is there. From 2010 onwards, Azure is there. 2006 onwards, Amazon is there. But I don't see this much amount of growth before 2017, 2015. But slowly the cloud has been an integral part into the IT. Now it is very important for every IT engineer who is working in the IT from cloud has become an integral part. Now here you need to understand, before that, what is the situation. So here, before cloud, whenever we are into the IT sector, we used to have physical servers. So if you can see, this is the physical server. Just try to understand. Imagine a physical server. Inside this physical server, So now this server, whatever the physical server that you are seeing here, this physical server will have an application. So this application is developed by the development team. So the development team will develop the application and it will forward to the operations team or administration team. There are several teams like Linux administrators, Windows administrators, like that. There are so many administrators. So whenever the application is developed and it is forwarded to the server team will deploy that particular application. When the server team is deploying that application, now this application has to be accessed by each and every person outside the world. So whoever are the customers or else whoever are the clients of this particular application, they have to access this application. Now the clients won't be in a single location. They will not sit inside a single room. So whoever are accessing WhatsApp or else whoever are accessing Facebook, whoever are accessing Amazon, they will not sit in a single room, right? They will be all around the world. So all the clients will be all around the world. So from all around the world, if you want to access this application, which is deployed in some location, how can you access that? You need to have a connectivity to that application. You need to have a connectivity with the server. Okay, the connections has to be established. These connections will be established with the help of a concept called as, these connections will be established with the help of a concept called as networking. So if you don't have the networking concept, then the connections will not be, the connectivity will not be there. So here networking plays a crucial role to make the connection between the server and the client. Just imagine that if you don't have the network, if you don't have internet, are you able to send any messages to the through WhatsApp? Are you able to send any messages through Facebook, or else are you able to access any website? Are you able to access any e-commerce website, or else are you able to access your office websites? No, everything is related to your internet only. Nowadays, if at all, if you are sitting in the home and accessing everything, if you want to order food, if you want to order electronic appliances, or else if you want to do the bank transactions, whatnot, everything, nowadays, everything is relied on the networking only. In the same manner, if at all, if you want to access any servers, networking will play an important role, will be playing a crucial role. Okay, nowadays. But when you go to the previous era, like when the cloud was not introduced, of course, there is networking. But here, the main problem here is to monitor this networking, we need to have a networking team to monitor this entire network. So we need to have a networking team in our company, as well as to monitor these servers. This is a physical server. For any server, for any physical server, you will have RAM, CPU, storage, and etc. things. All these things should be monitored. So every second or else every day, every minute, the server has to be monitored. We don't know at a particular time the load on the server might be increasing. What is meant by load? The number of connections made to that server. So the number of connections made to that server is called as a load. For example, I am a person who is accessing ICICIbank.com now. At this second, I am accessing that. In the same manner, all around the world, there will be several thousands of people maybe accessing the same website at this second. So that is considered as a load. Suddenly, if the load on the server is increased, which means the number of connections that is provided by the server is increased, then the RAM utilization and CPU utilization will be increased. So who has to monitor that? Obviously, there will be a monitoring team which is monitoring the servers. And later, the problem here with the physical server is, the main problem with the physical server is, so with the given RAM and CPU, with the given RAM, CPU, and storage, so you can deploy only a single application in the physical server. Any single application can be deployed. You cannot deploy multiple applications at a time. So there will be so many problems with the physical servers. There are so many problems with the physical servers. To overcome this problem, we have introduced a new technology called as, like IT sectors has introduced a new technology called as virtualization. So this virtualization, what is the main functionality of this virtualization? So the main functionality of the virtualization is to reduce the economical burden on the companies. So within a single server, we can deploy multiple applications. So now what is this virtualization? Virtualization is a concept of deploying imaginary servers, or else deploying the servers with the help of, or else by taking the physical resources. Now, for example, you are having a physical server over here. Now, this physical server is having somewhere like 128 GB of RAM. Servers are not with a small RAM capacity and small processor capacity. The server RAM and CPU capacity will be very, very high. So if there is a server and this server is having some 128 GB of capacity, 128 GB of RAM, and somewhere like 4 CPU is there. Now, if you install an operating system like Windows, Linux, any operating system, and if you are running an application, for example, in the physical server, if you are running an application, then the application might be consuming somewhere like 8 GB of RAM, and somewhere like 2 CPU is what consuming by your application. So 8 GB of RAM and 2 CPU will be consumed by your application. Then what about the remaining 120 GB of RAM? It is useless. So you cannot deploy any another application, or else if you want to deploy, yes, you can deploy it, but there will be some confusion state. Okay, so to overcome all this, what we are going to do here is to optimizely using this server. If I want to use the server optimizedly, so what I am going to do here is I am going to create a virtual machine, which is an imaginary operating system, which is an imaginary server inside my physical server. So by creating this, so I can assign RAM and CPU capacity for this imaginary server. For example, this server will take 16 GB of RAM and suppose 1 CPU. And I can deploy like that. I can deploy so many servers. For example, I can deploy one more Windows server or Linux server with the same configuration. So up to how much RAM you are having, depending upon the RAM capacity, you can install all these servers. RAM and CPU capacity, you can install all these servers. By installing them, you can run multiple applications in a single physical machine so that we can optimally use the resources. For example, if you see here, this is my laptop. Inside my laptop, I'm having 24 GB of RAM. This is my virtual machine. Just for your understanding, I'm saying this is the physical machine which I am using right now. And this is the virtualization software which I am using. So if you can see here, the RAM consumption, or else how much RAM it is utilizing all over 9.8 GB of RAM. Now what I am going to do here is I will turn on my servers. This is my Windows Server 2019 and I am having a Windows 10 machine also. This is my Windows 10 machine. Now, what is happening inside this physical machine, inside my physical computer, I have started 2 different applications, or else I am running 2 different operating system. One is Windows operating system, Windows 2009 operating system, and a client machine of Windows 10. So if you can see what is the base operating system I am using, the base operating system I am using is Windows 11. But on this operating system, I can run my Windows machines. I can install the Linux machine depending upon the usage. Now, if you can see what is the RAM capacity of this particular server, the RAM capacity of this server is somewhere like 8 GB of RAM. The server is utilizing 8 GB of RAM, and the another Windows 10 operating system is using. The Windows 10 operating system is also using somewhere like, come on. Yeah, it is also using 8 GB of RAM. Both are using 8 GB of RAM, which means from where you are getting this 8 GB of RAM, means the total physical memory, whatever you are having, the physical memory I am having is 24 GB. Among the 24 GB, these two devices are getting 8 GB of RAM. If you can see here, the RAM utilization has been increased and the CPU utilization is increased. So from the physical servers, the virtual servers are collecting the resources and they are running the applications. Now this is how we can optimally use my servers, or else optimally use my missions, whatever the physical missions that I have purchased. I can configure them with the virtualization. I can configure the servers with the help of virtualization, and I can run, or else I can deploy multiple servers as I have deployed Windows Server 2019, or else I can deploy Red Hat Linux, or else CentOS Linux, Ubuntu Linux, whatever I want, I can deploy it on my physical machine. So it doesn't depends upon what operating system you are using. You might be using Windows operating system, or else you might be using Linux operating system as the base operating system. But beyond that, on this, you are installing a layer. So here you are having a virtualization layer. On that virtualization software, you are installing one more virtual machine. So when this virtualization came into the picture, everyone, whoever are working in the IT industry, the IT industry has been completely transformed. Now everywhere, whoever are working as a system administrator, they know that they are running the entire servers as on the virtualization only. So I hope that you might be hearing these words: Citrix Gen servers, virtualization, VMware ESXi servers. Like that, you might be heard this word. If at all, if you are an employee, you might be hearing these words. So these are all comes under the virtualization, where there will be multiple virtual servers which are helpful for you to run the different applications. So these virtual servers are isolated from each other. One virtualization will not communicate with the another virtualization until you make the communication. Unless if you connect the two virtualization and if you make the communication, they will communicate. Manually, you have to make this connection. So until you make the communication, two virtual machines will not be communicating. Those two virtual machines are isolated to each other. Whatever the application that you are running on the first virtual machine will not have any impact on the second application. So this is very feasible for the IT sector. Why? Because with a less expensive, with a less economical thing, you are running the multiple application in a single physical server. Still, the IT industry is facing some problems. Still, the administrators are facing the problem. What is the problem that they are facing here is whatever the servers that they are running the virtualization, still they have to monitor the networking, they have to monitor the server health, they have to manage the RAM and CPU. Everything has been very hectic. Why? Because monitoring is not a small thing. So every day-to-day life, everything has to be checked. What is the physical server health and what is the network health? What is the storage health? Everything has to be checked. So to check out all these things, what is happening here now? These monitoring has been hectic for the system administrators. To overcome this problem, now what has happened? Some of the companies has determined they have enhanced all the situation, and they have understood the situation, and with the help of a certain configuration that is called as your cloud. So for the cloud, whatever the cloud you are working out, the cloud, the basic configuration, or else the base is your virtualization only. Whatever the servers that you are running, all the servers that are running in the cloud environment are the virtual servers. They are not the physical servers. Any server that is running in the cloud environment, either it might be AWS, or else it might be Azure, or else it might be GCP, any cloud application, or else any cloud server which you are installing, or else which you are deploying in the cloud environment, those are all comes under the virtualization only. All are the virtualized missions. So the basic cloud depends on the virtualization. Without virtualization, the environment cannot be created. So this is how the cloud has been evaluated. So the base of the cloud depends on the virtualization only. So after virtualization, the cloud was introduced into the IT world, and it is very easy and it has become very easy for the administrators to manage their applications. Why it has become easy? The reason behind this is now because of the service models. The reason why administrators are feeling very easy to manage the cloud, the reason is because of the service models. What are the service models that are provided by your cloud? It is very easy. It is very easy. Now, what is this service model? So there are several types of service models. One is IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. These are the three different service models which are given by your cloud service providers. IaaS means infrastructure as a service. They might be asking some questions on this, but it is most probably in your interview, you will not get the questions from these service models, but maybe maybe the interviewer will be in some frustration. He can ask you these type of questions. For that reason, I am saying you. So IaaS means infra as a service, infrastructure as a service. Okay, infrastructure as a service. What is the meaning of this? So infrastructure as a service means, so the service provider, whoever are the cloud service providers are there, AWS, Azure, or GCP, or else Oracle, or else what VMware, these are all comes under the cloud service providers. IBM is also one of the cloud service provider. Now, what is this IaaS? IaaS means infrastructure as a service. So you don't need to worry about your physical configuration. Like you don't need to worry about your physical servers, but when you come to the on-premises, you have to worry about your physical servers. Here in the cloud, you don't need to worry about your physical servers. You don't need to worry about your networking. But when you come to the on-premises, you have to monitor the networking. When you come to the cloud technologies, you don't need to worry about the networking. You don't need to worry about the storage, and you don't need to worry about the installing the operating system. These are all taken care by your service provider only. So what are the 4 things you don't need to worry here? You don't need to worry about servers, physical servers, but you have to worry about your virtual machines. Networking, network, storage, and finally, what I can say, OS. So by default, the operating system will be installed and image will be given to you. So you don't need to worry about the OS also. Everything will be pre-configured by the AWS only. By everything will be pre-configured by the service provider only, not only AWS, Azure, or GCP, anything. So everything will be pre-configured. So this is about your IS. Mute yourself. Dave, do you want to ask me any question? Okay. So when you come back to this PaaS, so this is about your infrastructure as a service. So on the infrastructure as a service, so everything will be, every physical server, networking, storage, and whatnot, operating systems will be maintained by the service provider. Now, what you need to worry? So here you need to worry about, in the infrastructure as a service, you need to worry about middleware, that is the application, and application runtime. Okay, what is the language that you are using? Runtime is nothing but the type of language that you are using. And then you need to worry about data. So how much amount of data that is coming, whether the data is storing in the database, or else there is any leak, or else whether there is whether the data is replicating between the backup databases or not. These are all the things you need to take care. And then you need to worry about the application. You need to worry about the application. So what is this application? Whether the application is working fine. Is there are any enhancements that I can do for the application? Whether the sidebars can be coming like this, or else do I have to change anything? So these are all the things you need to worry. When you go to the PaaS means platform as a service. So in the platform as a service, you don't need to worry about servers, network, middleware, and runtime. Everything will be pre-configured by your what I can say, cloud service provider only. Then what you need to worry about? You need to worry about your application data and as well as application enhancements. These are the things you need to worry. This is called as platform as a service. And software as a service, here everything will be pre-configured by the cloud service provider. So just you need to purchase the software. Like I am purchasing my Zoom software, like I am purchasing my GoToMeeting software, like I am purchasing my Google Drives. So everything, you don't need to change anything. Everything you have to purchase. You just need to purchase the application and you have to use. The best example is Office 365. You have to purchase the entire suite and you can run your applications. If you want Word, if you want PowerPoint, if you want Excel, so simply you can run your application. So this is what software as a service. So everything will be maintained by the what I can say, your cloud service provider. Okay, so you don't need to worry about this. Everything, each and everything will be maintained by the cloud service provider. So this is how the whatever your struggles will be reduced. So when we are going with the AWS, in AWS we will be completely using these two, IaaS. Of course, we will be using all the service, but majority of the services are IaaS services, infrastructure as a service. So we have to configure the servers, we have to install the application, we need to run the applications, everything will be related to the infrastructure related. So these are the services that are provided by your cloud service providers. Do you have any doubts in this? Do you want to ask me any questions? And everywhere, whenever anybody are saying about this, they will say you somewhere like there is an apartment. If you want to construct an apartment like that, they are going to provide some examples. I don't think that is necessary. I hope you understand this IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Do you have any doubts? You can ask me now. Questions, guys? Any another questions? Okay. Now, when we coming back to the next one, types of cloud. What are the different types of clouds? If you are unable to answer, please ping me in the chat box so that I can give you the reply. At least you can do that. Okay. Types of cloud. When you come to this, there are three types of clouds. One is public cloud, one and the other one is private cloud, like that. So you will be having several types of cloud computing, cloud technologies. So what are the different types of cloud technologies? One is public, private, and hybrid. These are the three different types of cloud technologies. So among this, we need to understand the configuration. Among this, we need to understand the configuration of public cloud and private cloud and hybrid cloud. So when we are discussing about the public cloud, what is this public cloud? So the cloud services that are available to each and every person, if at all, if you are having a AWS account, you will create your own cloud environment. You can create your own organization. So that is the thing that is really helpful in the cloud, public cloud technologies. Public cloud means everyone can access. So if you want to deploy any servers, you don't need to worry. You don't need to purchase any server. If you are having a public cloud account, nothing but your AWS account, or else if you are having any Azure account, or else if you are having any GCP account, you can simply install your servers. So you don't need to worry about your server installation, how to get those servers. You don't need to worry about your application deployment. Simply you can deploy those. So what is meant by a public cloud? The name itself indicating that the cloud that is available to each and every person, that is called as a public cloud. And when we come back to the private cloud, if the cloud that is available to a single organization. So for example, what is this public cloud? If you need to understand this, your AWS is a public cloud, your Azure is a public cloud, your GCP is a public cloud. So these are all comes under the public cloud. Now what they will do? Here you need to understand the concept. Now, what AWS is going to do? AWS. Yes, Ashish Singh, go on.
Sir, I want to know, I'm a Java developer, and these days, when somebody hires for, Java developer, they ask for AWS and Kafka. So, sorry if I missed it in between. Can this course help me in getting that interview cracks? And I want to move on to the DevOps or AWS side. So will this course be helpful? If yes, then how it will help, and how should I prepare? Like how can I utilize your guidance, basically?
We will discuss that in the end of the session. Okay. Everything I will tell you.
Okay, sir.
Okay, don't worry. So when we coming back to this, where are we? Yeah. I am telling you about this public cloud. What is the public cloud and what is private cloud and what is hybrid cloud? Public cloud means, so AWS will have their data centers all around the world. All around the world, they will have the data centers. Nearly 30 regions are there. So what are the different regions that we are having? The first one is US-East 1. Okay, east 1, east 2, west 1, west 2, like that. They are having so many regions. AP hyphen south 1, that is that is our Mumbai location, and AP hyphen south 2, that is our Hyderabad location. Like that, we are having so many different types of regions that are available for the AWS. And inside these regions, we will discuss about the regions and the, geographical structure of AWS. But I just want to say you, inside these regions, you are having multiple data centers. Inside this regions, you will be having multiple data center. For example, if you consider this as a region, this as an AWS region. Okay, this is as an AWS region. So inside this AWS region, you will be having multiple data center, not a single data centers. You will be having several data centers. So for example, if you take this as a data center, and you will be having multiple data center, and each and every data center, whatever the data center that you are seeing here, each and every data center are interlinked with each other. And inside each data center, you will be having multiple rack servers. Okay. So like this, you are having so many different racks will be available. And inside the racks, your servers can be configured. So inside these racks, the physical servers can be configured. Okay. Like this. The physical servers can be configured. Whenever we are configuring these physical servers, inside the physical servers, we can deploy the virtual machine. So we will discuss about that in later on part. But as of now, this is how your data center will be looking like. And inside the data center, you will have this physical racks and physical servers. And inside the physical servers, you will be having the virtual machines. Now, for example, I am an entrepreneur. Okay, or else I want to deploy, or else I want to create my own application for my training institute. Suppose if I am installing a training institute and I want to deploy my own application. Okay, if I want to deploy my own application, what I need to have, I need to have a server, I need to have networking, everything I need to have. But when you go to the cloud, if you are having a cloud account, if you are having an AWS account, you don't need to worry about the servers. You don't need to worry about the networking and all the things. Just you can deploy your server. You can add your domain name to your server, and then whatnot. You can run your application on that server. So it is it has become handy for the entire public also. Now what we need to have, so just I need to have a public account. Just I need to have an AWS account, or else I need to have an Azure account, or else I need to have an GCP account. If I have any one of these accounts, then I can create my own application. In the same manner, if there is another trainer, so he want to establish his own institute. So he can also create his own, environment in the same public cloud. So if there is some XYZ person is there, if he is an automobile engineer, or else if he want to install his own company and he don't know about the IT sector, then he will be reaching to an IT service company. The IT service company obviously will provide the cloud. So each and every person who are having an account, they can access the servers that are inside this data center. Whatever the data center that you are looking and whatever the servers that you are looking. So if you are having an account, you can access to the servers. You can create your own environment. You can create your own applications. So that is the reason why I am calling the first type as the public cloud. Everyone can create their applications. So everyone can create their environment. But when you come to the private cloud, the name itself indicating that private cloud means the infrastructure, whatever the infrastructure that you are creating, if at all that is utilized. So here the main difference between public cloud and private cloud is public cloud, the access will be given to the each and every person, each and every people who are having an AWS account or Azure account, who are having an account, the servers can be accessed. They can create the servers. But when you come to the private cloud, the name itself indicating that private. So which can be given for a single organization, that is not provided by some cloud service providers. You can create your own private cloud. How you can create that? If you are having 2 or 3 servers, simply I can call it as a cloud. So anybody can access from anywhere. If you are providing the accessibility for those servers for the persons who are accessing from anywhere, then that is called as a private cloud. Now this private cloud, the server's access will be provided to the particular employees only. If at all, if your company is some IBM company, so IBM company employees will only be able to access those servers. If at all, if you are Microsoft employee, then Microsoft employees are trying to access the servers, then that is called as a private cloud. Now, this is the main difference between public cloud and private cloud. When you come to the hybrid cloud, the combination of public cloud with the private cloud is called as the hybrid cloud. What is this combination? For example, I am having my own organization, and inside this organization, I am having a database. So I don't want this database should be installed on a cloud environment, but the web application should be installed in the, what I can say, should be installed in the cloud environment. So if I want to make the connection between the public cloud onto my private cloud, onto my database, which is residing in my office, then that is called as a private cloud. That server can be accessible only by my employees. So then that is called as a private cloud. Now, whenever I provide the access between the public and private cloud, then obviously I can call that as a hybrid cloud. These are the three different types of clouds that we are having in the cloud environment. So if you can see, we have completed this types of cloud: private, public, and hybrid, and the service models. Now, do you have any doubts in this? Especially in this, we will discuss about the another things in the later on part, but do you have any doubts in this? Questions, guys? Questions, please.
Chaitanya, one thing. Sorry. So can we say that private cloud is nothing but the cloud which has been created only by that organization to serve their purpose only?
Exactly. Yes, whatever you have said is the correct one.
Okay. And the public cloud, when we say public cloud, AWS, those are the public clouds. Does that mean so? Means in AWS we are having, like, for example, in my company I have AWS account, but that account is related to the my company domain only. So
Okay.
is it something like under the public cloud we have different roles, or what we can say to that term?
Obviously, you are having some, you might be having some different roles. It might be your company might be having. So first of all, what your company is having, first of all, which account your company is having, whether it is having an AWS account, I understand that. So what they are doing with that AWS account?
Means with that AWS account, we are using the services like Lambda functions or RDS, something like that.
Obviously, that will come under the public cloud only. If at all, your company is not alone using AWS, right? So several companies are using that. So obviously that is in the public domain. Maybe your company is working with your domain name. I will tell you that in the later on part. In Route 53, we will discuss about that. But anyways, your company is working with your domain name. So for example, if you install a mail server, mail exchange server in the cloud, then you can apply the domain name. If at all, if you are installing any load balancers, for example, there is an web application, so that can be run on your domain. I will tell you that. But eventually, your company is using the public cloud. Not AWS is not providing only their servers for your company, right? So they are providing for the multiple companies. So eventually, they will come under the public cloud only.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. So this is about your different types of cloud service models and all the things. Now, here you need to understand the next one. Now, as of now, this is about the cloud. When we coming to the networking concept, which is very, very, very important for you to understand. Why? Because now, see, I am sitting in Hyderabad. Just for time being, understand that I am sitting in Hyderabad. Okay. Whenever I am sitting in Hyderabad, I am deploying my servers in the America location. Or else you might be sitting in somewhere like in any part of India you are sitting. Whenever you are working out there, your company servers are in the another location. How you are going to access that? You are, if at all, if you are a working employee, you will understand this. Have you ever accessed any remote applications, remote servers? Just for timing, just try to understand this. If I say this, who are not understanding this concept, who are not employees, they will understand this. For example, You want to send a message to your friend who is in America through WhatsApp. How you can send it? Or else, if you want to access Google, or else if you want to access any technical websites, so how you are going to access them? Just you will go to the Chrome browser. Just you will go to the Chrome browser and www.google.com. If you type this, obviously, search engine, the Google search engine will be in front of you. I want to know some Terraform. Okay. This is the DevOps concept, guys. Don't worry. Terraform is one of the DevOps concept. So I want to check what is this Terraform and all the things. When I click on this, obviously I will be entered into this. The website will be available for me. So you need to understand how I am making this connectivity, how I am getting this web application. Can anybody say this? How I am getting this web application?
We are sending requests to the servers, and then servers are serving those requests.
Then the servers will provide the response to our request. So here, the servers are not sitting besides me. The servers are not sitting besides you. The servers are not there in India. Some servers might be in out of India. Some servers might be inside the India. Some servers might be in the remote location. So the connectivity that you are making, the connectivity that you are making to the servers, the connectivity that you are making with the servers, so this connection is called as network. So simply the internet and the intranet, both are the terms that are derived from the network, from the term called as network. Without this network, you cannot have the connection between the servers. You cannot have the connection between the computers. You cannot have the communication. So nowadays, without internet, just assume the world without internet for one day. It is not going to happen. Now that much it has been, what I can say, that much it has been into our lives. So network has been a part of our life. So without this network, we cannot establish the connection. We cannot establish the communication. For example, I am deploying a server here. Let me show you. I think there is a server running. Hold on. In this North Virginia region, I am having a server. Okay. Hold on. There are two snapshots. Fine. We will discuss about this. So I am going to install a server, launch an instance. We will discuss about all these things. You don't need to worry. So test underscore server. Okay, test underscore server. Amazon Linux. So key pair will be, we will discuss about the key pair and all the concept. Don't worry. So I want to deploy on this particular network. Okay, select an existing security group. Okay, and then launch the instance. So in Northern Virginia region, I deployed an instance. I deployed a server in US location. I have created a server. Now, if I want to access this server, how can I access this? I want to install an application. I want to run some application. I want to run some website. So how can I access that server? So to access this server, we need to have a network connectivity. So whenever we have installed this server, the server will be having two types of IPs. One is, so here comes the main part, public IP and the private IP. So we will discuss about this in depth in the next class, but as of now, we are having public IP and we are having private IP. What is this public IP? What is the private IP? We will discuss about that. But as of now, if I copy this public IP and I am having an application called as putty. So with this putty, what we can do, we can log in into our server. See there. I will tell you how to log in, how to generate the private key, public key, and everything in detail. Don't worry. So just to show you, am I able to connect to my application, or else am I able to connect to my server? Here you can see, yes, I am able to connect to my server. So if I want to install any website on this server, if I want to install any website, or else if I want to have a web services in that server, what I am going to do, update -y and Amazon Linux extras install Nginx 1.12-1. When I install this, Nginx is one of the web services. I have installed this application. Okay, done. Systemctl start Nginx and systemctl enable Nginx. Done. Now, how I have installed my web server and there is a default web page. To access this web page, I need to have this public IP address. What is this IP? We will discuss about that. But anyways, see here, I am going to get this application up. My server is up and running with an application. This is the sample web page which you are seeing. Now, how this thing happened, how I am able to connect to my servers. The first thing is, if you want to connect to any server or else any device, to connect to device, you need to have network. Without network, you are unable to connect. Sir, what is this? If at all, if we don't have, so network, what is this network? So everybody are telling internet, you are telling network. Internet and intranet, both are the terms that are derived from the network only. So you need to have the network. So with this network, you will have, if at all, if you are making the communication between multiple organizations, between multiple servers, then that is called as an internet. Within the organization, then that is called as an intranet. We will discuss about that. But anyways, so without this network connectivity, you will not able to access that server. Now I am able to access that server. Now, without the IP address, you cannot communicate. You can't communicate with the servers. Not only with the servers, with any devices. Without the IP address, you cannot communicate. So, for example, you are staying in Hyderabad and your friend is staying in some US location, or else you are staying in US location and your friend is located in Hyderabad location. If you want to call your friend, what are the pre-requirements? You are having mobile phone, your friend is also having mobile phone. You are having a SIM card of US and your friend is having a SIM card of India. And both are having the signals. So are you able to place the call now? Are you able to place the call now? Are you able to understand what I'm saying? You are having the mobile phone, your friend is also having the mobile phone. Devices are there. Okay. And you are having the SIM card and it is active, and your friend is also having the SIM card and it is active. So the signals are there. So the transmission media is there. Now, can you call your friend, or still do you require anything else? You will forget one thing. Do you require anything else, or else you can simply call your friend?
We need to have that signal reach to the destination. So for that one, we need the networking.
Everyone will think the same. I have clearly mentioned that we are having the signals, we are having the mobile phones, but
yes,
still we are unable to place the call. The reason is, if you don't know your friend's mobile number and your friend don't know your mobile number, both cannot place the call. Mobile number is very, very, very important. Isn't it right? Or else isn't it foolish? Does it look like foolish? So this is the basic thing. If you don't have the mobile number of your friend, how can you make the call? Okay. So number is very important. In the same manner, here I am having two servers. Here I am having a server in one of the locations. Just now I have deployed the server, and I am the client who is sitting in Hyderabad. Now I have the connectivity. I am having the internet. If I don't have the public IP address of this server, if I don't have the public IP address of the server, I cannot make the communication with the server. So see here, without this public IP, I am unable to get the web access console. And at the same time, I am unable to access my server. So public IP address is very, very, very important for you. So network is important. In the network, you are having the IP address. IP address is also very important. So depending upon the IP address only. Now, inside this AWS, what I am saying, you can create your own organization. This is what I am saying. So I'm a trainer. I am a beginner. I want to create my institute and I want to create an organization. So I'm having an institute, but all my servers need to be deployed in the cloud. So what I have to do? So then I can create my entire organization. So where I can have my Active Directory server, I can have my database server, I can have my web application server, and as well as whatnot. I can have any servers inside a network, inside the public cloud. If you think this is the public cloud, let me define you in this manner. If you think this is the public cloud where different organizations will have their account, inside this public cloud, I want to create my own cloud, my own cloud in the sense private cloud. So inside the public cloud, if I want to create my own organization, then that is called as private cloud. So here comes the term called as VPC, virtual private cloud. The any cloud technology or else any private cloud that you are creating inside the public cloud, then that is called as a private cloud. Now inside this private cloud is nothing but it is not a physical infrastructure, guys. It's a logical, it's a network. I am going to create a very big network. Okay, very big network where I can create my own servers. So this we will discuss in the next class. What is meant by, what is this VPC? What is this very big network? So if you want to create this very big network, you need to understand the concept called as subnetting. If you understand this concept, you can go further into the configuration of networking and all the things, VPC creation, subnet creation, everything you can create if you have a brief understanding about this subnetting concept. So that we will discuss in the next class. So this is about the class today. I hope you understood the class. Is there any queries that you want to ask me? You can ask me now. Questions, guys? And who's this? Ashish, you are about to ask something. Yeah, you can go on now. You are asking that you are a developer and your company. So whatever you are learning this AWS technology, how it will be helpful for you to crack the interview. And your company is requesting you to learn Kafka. Yes, this is the question you are asking about, right? Is Ashish there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yeah, this is the question you are asking, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you heard the question?
Yes, sir.
So whatever the AWS that you are learning, whatever the AWS that you are learning, that AWS is more than enough to crack an interview, first thing. And the second question, what is your second question? Can you go with your questions once?
Sir, how it can help me in providing better job prospects? And second, like people generally ask services part and all those things. So
Exactly.
how, if I want to move to DevOps role or like that, how this course
See,
can help me?
very good. In DevOps, you will be using several tools. First of all, you have to create an server. If you want to deploy any application, you need to create the instances. You need to run the instances. You need to install that application inside that instances. You need to do the load balancing. In this course, when you are going for the DevOps, in DevOps, you will learn about Git, Docker, whenever you are running your application inside the containers. So these containers can be created inside the instances. Without having the basic knowledge about how to create the VPC, how to create the subnet, how to install the instances in that subnet, So when you go for the DevOps, what DevOps trainer will do here is, if you don't have the AWS knowledge, simply he will install an application. Simply he will install a server inside a VPC, and inside the subnet and inside the instance, he will just open the instance and he will run the application. Now here, do you understand what is meant by VPC? If you don't have the knowledge about AWS, are you able to understand what is VPC? What is subnet? What is security group? He will continuously say that this is the VPC that I am taking, this is the subnet that I am creating, and this is the security group which I am using to run my application. And if he is continuously saying the same, whenever he is saying the same, do you understand what is this? It is very easy for the DevOps trainer just to provide the logical infrastructure, just to provide how to install the Docker, how to run the containers. And if at all he is saying about Ansible, whenever he is saying about the Ansible is the configuration management tool. There also you need to have the basic understanding about all this infrastructure related things. So without AWS, without any cloud technology, you cannot learn DevOps. I'm surely saying this. I'm not saying anything without clarity. I'm not saying this. Without AWS technology, without learning this configuration, without knowing the infrastructure, how to develop the infrastructure, you are unable to learn the DevOps. And one more thing here, we don't provide, actually, I don't know about the other trainers. Actually, I don't provide the technologies by taking a single project. If I take a single project, if I take a web application, whichever I am working out, and I will tell you, if I am giving the training on that project, so what you will learn, you don't learn nothing. For example, the project may not require RDS. The project may not require DynamoDB. The project may not require load balancer, application load balancer, network load balancer. So I can skip all those things. If I skip all those things, what are the requirements for that project? If I show you all the things, there is nothing. So here in the course, you will understand the core concept. What will be happen in the backend as a developer, as an application developer, you will understand my application has been developed. So how it can be installed on a server, how servers are created, how we are going to provide the networking. For example, unfortunately, if I want to deploy the application in one server, but unfortunately I deployed in the another server, how can I resolve these issues? So these are all the things you will learn in this concept. Primarily, basically, you will learn about the complete infrastructure. I am surely saying you this, by completing the course, you can crack the certification, you can crack your interviews also. Whatever I'm not saying that whatever the interview questions that are related to AWS, you can answer all those questions related to AWS. I cannot promise you to crack the interview. Why? Because they will be asking you some more topics regarding Java and all the other topics also. So regarding AWS, yes, you can clear out all the questions, whatever you are getting from the AWS, and you can crack the certification purpose also. That is what I can say. So do you understand this? Any doubts here?
Yes, sir. All things clear.
Okay. So that's about today. Tomorrow we will discuss about the subnetting, but whenever you are attending tomorrow, this is the second demo class. Tomorrow will be the third and final demo class. Please make sure that you will be registering with the course. From Thursday onwards, the link is going to be changed, and from GoToMeeting, we are going to join into the sessions. So today and tomorrow and day after tomorrow, the link is going to be changed. Please pay your RSP. Please register to the course. The course fees is 5,000 rupees only. Nobody, any another institute, I don't know about any another institute, no institute will provide the course for 5,000, that too with all the concepts that are covering. I don't think so it is going to happen. So please look into this. Of course, I don't know what I can say. Of course, there will be a less number of students in my classes, but the content that I provide here, I can say this, the content which you are going to get will be helpful for you to clear out your interviews, will be helpful for you to clear out your certification also. So please go through the content once. Am I clear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So that's all for today, and thank you. We'll meet in the next session. You can go through the Google reviews also. There are only a few has given the reviews. I don't know, but yes, you can go through the Google reviews, or also you can go through my previous class students also. So by looking into them only, you can join those courses. I don't have any problem with that. Okay, so that's all for today. Have a nice day. We'll meet in the next session. And bye, guys. Yes, Sachin, any question?
No, Chaitanya. Thanks.
Okay. You can call me. You can call me Chaitanya. You don't worry. You don't need to worry about calling me as a sir or else anything. You can call me Chaitanya. I don't have any problem. But if you call me as Chaitanya also, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.